I know. I wish I was down there. And we're live, folks. We were just talking about stepping out the front door of the Greatness Factory and getting on one of them party buses and riding around Nashville. I bet. All honesty, Chase, there's some serious creativity that happens when the mind is relaxed. So sometimes I don't do this enough. I should walk right out the front door of the Greatness Factory and right down to Broadway and just sit there and have a cold drink and get my creativity going. What do you think about that?
What's your drink of choice, Coach?
Moscow Mule.
There it is. Okay.
And every now and then I will have a sugar-free Red Bull and vodka. Old school, baby.
Yeah. Caffeine. You got to get the caffeine fix.
That's when you know you're getting old, when you drink sugar-free Red Bull and vodka.
Yeah. I had to do that at a wedding this weekend. That was the only way I was making it through past 9
o'clock. Well, the funny thing is I went to a wedding once and they did not have any alcohol there. And I was like, I cannot do this. So today we're back. We're back for another edition of Coach to Coach. My name is Coach Michael Burt. I do believe everybody deserves a seat at a much bigger table. I do believe that there's a lot of overly talented yet undercapitalized people. I think a lot of people haven't cracked the formula to the big table, which is skill, problem, vehicle. Earlier today, I was interviewing the CEO of Baker Donaldson. It's a $500 million law firm, 24 offices, scaled pretty good. And Chase Gruenig and I have a show called Coach to Coach that we stream on Facebook. Also goes to YouTube. I do have a new YouTube channel called The Big Table. And today we're going to talk about momentum. So Chase, you're up in Illinois today. What's the purpose of going to Illinois, and why did you get an office there?
Yeah, well, this is where I'm from. So we have a really big local brand here. We've got the billboards, the TV. We've got a lot of momentum here. We've had momentum going on here for about 10 years, and just we've seen what happens when you build a brand consistently over a period of time. We've really overtaken the local market here. And there's always going to be a piece of our brand and in our business here. And also one of our executives got married this past weekend. So he's up in Illinois, and that was a double dip. I'm here at the Springfield office, get to see the team, fired up, see some new faces, and just build momentum.
Well, when you think about building momentum, I always like to tell people momentum is just energy. Right? You're a sports guy. I was a sports guy. And I always like to say that you could have all the momentum in the early part of the game and still lose the game. I used to say the game was won or lost in basketball in the first 2 minutes of the second half. And because one team comes out flat, one team comes out ready. And it's like, who controls the momentum? Because I don't know about you, but I lost games in the last 14 seconds of a game because for the last 3 minutes of a game, they built momentum. And then it just, right? It's like it just hit right as the game was ending and we lost the game. Well, in business, so momentum, what we're talking about today on this Coach to Coach is energy headed in a direction. I bet there's been times in life where you felt like you had all the momentum in the world. It's like nothing you do can go wrong. It's working, baby. It's working. And then I bet there's been times in your life, if you've lived long enough, that you couldn't do anything right. and you had no momentum. So you're in the insurance business. You're in the business of building insurance agencies. Matter of fact, you and I are going to be speaking at an insurance event down in Fort Lauderdale coming up. Right?
Next week. Yep.
Next week. And so let's break down how you build momentum with these agencies, because a lot of people are hiring you to be their coach. One of the number one things you're doing is reorienting them, but I bet one of the things you're doing is helping them build some momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I think you always say it, confidence is the memory of success, right? And I think that's a huge part of momentum. And I think back to the sports days, when we had momentum, all it was confidence. We started thinking that we could win this game or come back or do whatever. And really, that's all that happens in an insurance agency is we build momentum through confidence. And in my opinion, if you break that down even further, confidence is just sales, in my opinion. And once we get, I always say you can feel when you're in a slump. You've got commission breath or sales breath, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, desperate.
And you're desperate, yeah. But when you have momentum, you're confident, you're loose, you're just yourself more than anything. And I think that's what builds momentum. And then with a team, when you're building a championship organization, when people around you are confident and having success, it builds momentum in the entire organization. So I think confidence is a big part of momentum. But I think if you break it down, a proven system, which is what we are known for, is a proven system, a process that drives very specific results, is what builds that momentum.
And I would say that the momentum is built in an organization by one person, meaning one person takes an initiative, the leader. Somebody takes the initiative, say, let's get this thing going, right? There's an activation point where it's like, we're going to get moving. So how do you build momentum? You make decisions. You take actions. You go from mental creation into physical action, right? You get out of thinking and stalling, where Pritchett goes, where dreams go to die, right? And then it's like you make a decision. A lot of times, Jana will, we had our leadership meeting this morning, and she's like, I need a decision. I need a decision. I need a decision. I need a decision. Well, the truth is, Churchill used to have this saying, Chase, that the worst decision you could make was to make no decision.
Mm-hmm.
The second worst decision you could make was make the wrong decision, right? But the best decision you could make is to make a decision, right? And what he was really saying is that when you're a leader, you make decisions, right, wrong, or indifferent. You move. You're decisive. You're bold. You call a play. You get into the game. So when you come into these insurance agencies, because I'm guessing there's some of them that are apathetic, some of them are stagnant, some of them haven't seen any movement in years. They've shown incremental growth. And you come in and you go, hey, it's a new game in town. We're taking action. What's the first thing you do to build that momentum?
Urgency.
Okay.
Urgency. So many people, like you say, are just slow. And I think just moving, and like you said, I make so many decisions in a day, in a week, in a month.
Yeah.
It's insanity. But when I go into an agency, that the first thing I do is I look at what their process is. And what I find out more than anything is most of the time there is no process.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important that we get people with urgency and with consistency moving towards a very specific process that delivers very specific results.
Yeah.
For us, we have a client needs assessment. We have an intake. We have a flow chart. We literally have a checklist. I explained it this morning. It's like a pilot. When a pilot gets in a plane, they have to do a checklist.
Yeah.
Before they take off, they do a checklist when they land. We do the same exact thing in our insurance agency every day. We have a checklist before we run an appointment. We have a checklist after we run an appointment, beginning of the day, the end of the day. And I think there's a big difference. Everybody can have a checklist, but how you work through that with consistency and with urgency is going to be a lot about momentum. And I think I love what you're saying here is just movement, fast movement, I think builds momentum more than anything.
Yeah. So the planning department's where dreams go to die. It's where momentum goes to die. Thinking, planning, strategizing, thinking, planning, strategizing. This is why one of the rules of the language of winning is when we don't know what to do, we do something, right? We call a lead. We build a strategic partnership. We put an event on the schedule. We pick up the phone and follow up with somebody. We work a current client. We work a past client. We get into movement. I don't know what to do. I do something, because when I do something, I build momentum. If you really went back to the word motivate, it means to move. And the way you build momentum is you move, right? So with you and your coaching business, what I'm seeing you do is you got a book coming out. That's a movement. It's a big step to becoming a person of interest. I got a message. I got a big mission. I got a lot of movement. I got a monetization cycle, right? You take the book and you say, look, I got a book. I'll talk about it. You do webinars on it. You do master classes on it. You do a book club on it. And that movement creates energy. And I don't know about you, but enough enthusiasm converts to money. If you got a lot of enthusiasm, but you don't have money, then you're not skilled enough to convert enthusiasm to money, because money is movement. That's why it's called currency, folks. It's moving. It's circulating. It's not valuable sitting, right? So when you think about this coming into an agency, next week when you're in Fort Lauderdale, what are you going to be talking about?
The biggest momentum builder, in my opinion, which is revenue per client. We're going to take this agency and we're going to teach them how to create more revenue per client. And you always say be a specialist, not a generalist, right? And that's what we specialize in, is we teach agencies, we teach agents how to make more money without more work, right? How to help better protect their clients without doing any more work. So an average agent let's say they generated, I don't know, $500 per client. Can we take that up to 1,000? Can we double? Can we triple that amount?
Yeah.
And really encourage that revenue without any work. So that's a huge part of what we do. And then obviously taking them through a very specific process. But when we go through momentum, I think it's really important. A lot of people ask me, how has our coaching business grown so fast? Well, we deliver very specific results. And I think when you deliver results like that, the momentum just starts going. And I think that's a lot of what momentum is results.
Yeah. What people are paying for is a demonstrated capacity.
Mm-hmm.
What people are paying for is a method of movement. You have a customer acquisition method. You have a follow-up method. You have an engagement method. You have a build an agency method, which will be in the book, Dynasty, which is the book that's coming out. And that is your method. Like, I didn't write the book Anatomy of Winning till I won a championship, right? Because I wouldn't qualify to tell people how to win championships until I won a championship. So I think what you're doing is you're really a momentum builder, and you're coming into these companies and you're building momentum, and we know it's working because we're getting results, right? And we're getting, you're putting people into this coaching cycle. Okay. Now, if a person's out there and they're stuck and they haven't built any momentum, there's two things they can do. They can sit there and they can whine, they can complain, they can bitch, they can moan, they can say this don't work or that don't work, or they can buy a ticket, change their environment, take a plane, train, automobile, walk, and they could come get in a room with us. Is that right? Am I right or am I right?
You are right, Coach.
Okay. Because that's what you did. You got in a room. You bought a ticket. You come to a session. You wake up, right? You do the work. You put the work in. You generate $1 million business quickly, by the way. So when you think about it, what's the next thing that people can do with you? They can buy a book. That's an action they can take. Where do they buy the book at? Is it out yet?
We'll have it for pre-sale August 6th. So we have a building championship teams. This one is focused around teams webinar. You and I coming up August 6th.
Yep.
That's when the pre-sale launches as well. But that's going to be an hour where we talk about how to build a championship team.
Yep.
And that's really what this book revolves around is over the last 10 years, how have I built a multi-million-dollar insurance agency, a very high-performing team? How do we get more out of less people? Yep. And that's what we've codified, right? That's what we've done in a short amount of time. I remember when I read your book, Person of Interest, it was a very step-by-step formula on how to become a person of interest and get people to know, like, and trust you, right? And to be known and be attracted. And that's what we've done with this insurance book is we've really codified that and put that in a step-by-step format of really something we've done over 10 years, which I believe you can do a lot faster if you just learn from the mistakes we made.
So there's free webinars they can come to. There's a book they can purchase. Guys, this is how you build momentum.
Yep.
Indecisive. The word decide means to kill something off. But you can also buy a ticket to be in a room with us, right?
Yep.
And where we're talking about building championship teams. And that is at the Greatness Factory. Give them the lowdown and skinny on that.
Yeah, Greatness Factory. That's where Coach is at right now. So $8 million complex. We took out a 2-year residency. It's like Vegas. Yep. I'm like a famous country star in Vegas, hanging out at the Greatness Factory. And we'll be in the theater, which is a state-of-the-art facility. And we'll have the best of the best in the industry speaking on what's working, what's not working, and what we plan to do to innovate our fourth quarter, which in our industry is our biggest quarter of the year. That's our open enrollment period for Medicare and retirement agencies. Coach will be speaking. We'll have some of our top marketers speaking. We'll have some of our top agency builders speaking, and really on a codified way to have your best fourth quarter ever.
Yeah, I love it. And your events are always packed. They're always great people. They're always people who are hungry. And a lot of these people are in your coach's
office. Yeah.
Coach's office coaching program, and they're getting increase. And the only way it's going to work is if you work it, folks. The muscle, until you work the muscle, it don't work. Okay. So where do they go to get involved in all these things?
CoachGHuddle.com. And that event is August 28th, 29th. We have a welcome reception at the Greatness Factory that evening too. And if you've been to any of our events, I mean, Coach, you've spoken at almost all of them. We've done them in Destin, Florida. We've done them in Nashville. I've traveled to different events. We like to make sure you come away and you are able to implement immediately, but we also like to provide an experience. I think that's a really, really important overlooked part of an event is, do you walk away from that feeling like, man, that was worth every second. And that's what our goal is. My wife spent 15 years in corporate hospitality and really knows how to put on a phenomenal event. And I just get to show up half the time. So we've got a good thing cooking and can't wait for the August one.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the Destin event may have been the biggest mastermind in a house I've ever seen down there.
Yeah. It was 13,000 square foot and we didn't have an extra inch in that thing.
I really believe that. Like I walked into that room and I was like, damn, where all these people come from?
Yeah.
100 people in this room.
I was a little overwhelmed too. There was an occupancy code and we were pushing that. And I was like, oh boy.
Well, guys, build momentum today. You guys are watching this. You're watching two guys that's built a lot of momentum. And the way you do it is watch what people who build momentum do. And I guarantee you, there's a big mission. There's a lot of big message. There's a lot of movement. There's clear monetization. And that's how you convert insurance businesses, any kind of business. We're talking about insurance today, which is one of the best vehicles you could ever get into, but we want to grow it. We want to scale it. We want to muscle it up and take it to another level. And that's really what we're going to be doing at these events. So Chase, have a good time in Illinois. I'll see you next week in Fort Lauderdale. It'll be sunny and hot. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, it'll be there.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Another edition of Coach to Coach, folks. Go to the website, watch these things, Facebook, YouTube, and learn how to build momentum at the very highest levels, which is energy in motion. It's what I tell my 3-year-old daughter every morning. Energy in motion. Energy in motion. All right, man. Have a great day.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Okay, brother.